Hey, everybody, welcome back to part two, hour two of the Quantum Show. Tonight, July 8th.
Yeah, all day.
July 8th. Yeah, we're still in July. Yeah, I got a paper calendar. The doctor says it's July 8th.
Yeah. No, my phone says
Okay,
it's July
welcome
8th.
back, everybody. Mhm. Okay, we got Justin in the door first. RPG Grandma, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Thanks for coming by. If you hear your quantum, hit like and subscribe. I have to say that. It's a YouTube thing.
There's Sapphire Elf.
And Sapphire Elf, hey, you were here for the first hour. Hey, man, thanks for coming back. Me and Amy have coffee again, so it's good. Tastes like disclosure. Mm.
Uh, got my big purple Bubba cup.
Awesome. Hey, Jeanette. Okay, so Lynn, you were here for the first hour.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Oh my God, I didn't know there was a test. Oh
No,
gee,
no,
I
I
didn't
just
study.
there's no test. Not a test.
What did I think? I don't know what I was thinking, honest to God.
Okay.
Raymond and I were busy having a good time. So,
Yeah, I saw the chat was going back and y'all were going back and forth. I couldn't keep up. I was having to do this.
Frank, that light is reflecting off my glasses again. There we go.
Okie doke.
Somewhat better. I can't really
Okay.
help the
Hmm.
reflection there, but we'll do the best we can.
It's what we got. Everybody give me a sound check, please. Lynn, I guess I
You
sounded
sound
okay to
great.
you?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Justin, thanks for coming by. Yeah, I just popped in for a couple of minutes. They were talking about AI
Great.
in gaming and entertainment, and I was like, and he asked me to come in. I was like, shoot, I'm right here. Okay. I wasn't there for very long though, and I didn't really go into it because I didn't want to derail his topic on his show and talking about the actual structure of AI is incapable right now. It's going to take 20 years at least, and etc.
I
Right?
wouldn't
But
bet on that.
um, I mean, if they're gonna, okay, I just want to throw this out there, right? If they need to build airplanes for themselves, the infrastructure is barely in place for us to do it. Really hard to get it done. And they're going to have a really hard time doing it
Mhm.
because you've got materials, you've got the robots that put them together, you've got tolerances have to be met, and it's going to end up a
Theirs or
lot like,
mine?
hmm,
Theirs or mine?
theirs. Tolerances have
Tolerances.
to be met.
Yeah.
Theirs, they can't oh, it's going to end up like the first
Yeah.
electric robotic cars or the first robotic cars. They're going to crash into each other because they don't they don't know how to do this stuff, and that's just cars have already done it. We've already got a
Mhm.
blueprint of how these things work. They're going to be crashing into each other, running into walls,
Hitting people
not working in general. Okay, I just
and
want to throw
hitting
that out
people.
there.
Yeah, and they already have. I mean, it's not like this is news. It's been going on. When
Right.
they've been testing them, uh, AI actually swerving to hit a pedestrian. So
And other
you know,
cars and walls, and they're
yeah,
just not
it's
ready.
no. This is like putting a 2-year-old in charge of the car and saying go for it.
Right, do
You
it
know, and
perfectly.
it literally is that 2-year-old till it
Just
till
yeah,
it begins to be socialized and begins to understand the social mores if it ever can. I don't
If
know
it
that.
ever, I don't know if it can or not, because all of our social stuff is adapted to. We adapted this stuff. We made it ourselves, and we're accustomed to it. It's kind of like those vestigial things, you they grow into place, and without the growth, it's wrong. It's incorrect, and it's not going to hold up.
Well,
Justin is saying,
you
mhm, go
oh
ahead.
yeah, you look at it. Okay, 50 years ago. We'll say 50, 60 years ago. Okay. Um, you and I would not fit in that social structure at all. We would not know what to do with ourselves because things would be so vastly different. And I know that because I was there. But little by little, we've had to do little tweaks to our social development to
Hmm.
become the people we are.
We
Uh,
grew into
you
it.
often see the elderly uh, unable to grasp the social mores. I'm having difficulty with some of it. So, what's an AI going to do? He's not going
Hmm.
to have first clue what's going on at any point because he's not growing into it. So, it's like putting a child in a forest, a feral child, we'll say, and say, "Here, operate in civilized society." They can't do it. It's
Right,
not possible for them.
right. Not yet. They have to grow into it, and
No,
it's a
I was talking
really
about feral kids can't do it. What's an
oh
AI
feral.
gonna do?
Yeah, feral kids.
Yeah, no, they
We
can't do
have
it.
Yeah, we have examples of feral kids that
Yes.
they just don't work in society. Feral kids have been found and put back into society, and they cannot adjust. They cannot adjust. Some
Well,
of them
a good
adjust.
bit of our intelligence is gathered at the at from the time from what is it from birth to 6 years is
Hmm.
when a human being does a majority of their learning. I mean, they can't shovel it in there fast enough. But you get a situation like blindness or deafness, and that child is behind the eight ball. He's got to be worked with entirely differently. AI is going to have the same situation.
Hmm.
It's going to amount to tweaks all of the time, or they're not going to be able to keep up.
Right.
And the tweaking is going to have to be by someone who actually recognizes that something has changed, and that's not going to be AI.
Mm, correct. Yeah, and okay. Now, for the sake of argument, let's say they can do all that stuff. What kind of hardware it takes to run all those? I was thinking about this earlier. What kind of
Mm-hmm.
hardware would it take? Unless they assimilate and quantify every, oh my gosh, it would take
It's mind-boggling.
our brains are literally quantum linked. We have a higher self that helps
Yes.
us along. This meat patty that we have in our head, this soggy wad of salty bacon, it helps us along. Without that, it's a salty wad of bacon, and it. it I mean,
I
they don't
really
have that.
do. I think that the soul, if you will, the spirit, has a great deal to do with how we learn, what we learn, why we learn it.
Hmm.
That why's got to be there for the human being. If it's not there, it's just a mass of numbers that, like your AI, just a mass of numbers, and there won't be any referring back to it because you can't remember it.
Right. There's
You
nowhere
know,
to store that stuff.
there's
They don't have
nothing
enough.
to reference it and grab onto,
Hmm.
to link to, and
Right.
keep it in a quantifiable place, a
It
folder
would
in your
need to
mind, if
have.
you will.
Yeah, there is no hardware that is accessible, that is even developed, that has that yet. Maybe one. the crystal hard disk may be one,
Mhm.
but it's really hard to make those, and they haven't made them mainstream. I thought you could order it on Amazon. You cannot. You cannot order. I mean, they're still unproven, and they don't work right, and they break down. So I was mistaken. I was mistaken on the Quantum Show. You cannot buy a crystal computer yet, crystal hard drive
Well,
yet.
and it's a matter of time. You know, human beings are very resourceful, and I mean, it says it in the Bible. If you can conceive of a thing, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes
Mm-hmm.
is your conceptualizing it. That's an interesting concept. Uh huh.
Mm-hmm. I'm
And
conceiving
when
it.
you start conceptualizing, look at Da Vinci's work. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he devised uh, products that we are using now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and they looked at then
Cryptography.
and said, "What in the heck are you thinking? Are you nuts?" You
Mm-hmm.
know, because they couldn't conceptualize it, but he already had. So you know, it's not just that inventor, but that's the one that comes to mind first. Galileo had figured out quite a bit about the gravity, or was that Newton?
That was Newton.
Okay,
Newton did
Galileo
gravity.
had talked about the stars and
Right.
where
That
the sun had where the sun belonged in the grand scheme of things, and
hmm
that we were revolving around it, not
right.
it
That
around us.
right. It wasn't revolving around us. We were revolving around it, and he was correct.
Yeah, for
Um,
that, I'll tell you, people around him died for that.
he was
So,
jailed.
oh
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
nobody nobody hears about the people around him.
Yeah, the well, I happen to know about that.
No.
Anyway,
Right. I mean, no.
we talk
I
about
don't.
different things, but yeah, I know about some of that. Um, you know, we our minds are finite, of course. You know, and all it takes is a little bitty something to set us screwed up.
hmm
But you know, when our mind is working well and on target, each one of us is an absolutely certifiable genius. Once we have tapped into our inner resources, and they have said, "Oh, we only use 10% of our brain." That's not quite true.
hmm
We use all of it, but not necessarily to its full extent.
Right. It might be at 10% processing capability.
Right.
Like you have the processor, it's just not being used at 100%, of
Yeah.
course.
And you
Um,
have to learn to think. You
mhm,
really do. I mean, if you're in high school and between the raging hormones, the ball games, and all the rest of it, there's not an awful lot devoted to learning how to think. And
right.
that's a pity because it should be.
I agree. And yeah, the ability to conceptualize and visualize, that is directly what I call the quantum link. We
Hmm.
can conceptualize it, and I'm going to be building this stuff. And I've already conceptualized how it's going to work. I'm letting a few things be variable because, well, I don't have the hardware right in front of me, all of it right now, but I'm gonna work with what I can get, and then the conception, the conceived thing will take shape based on what the hardware allows me to do. And
Justin's right. He was actually jailed for making fun of the Pope.
yeah, I didn't want to interrupt where our
Well,
flow.
and you know, and we're gonna try to keep track of what's going on in the chat too, because so often you guys have a really good point to make, and it ought to be picked up, talked about a little bit.
I learned that a little. I was reminded of that a little while ago in Keith's chat, and because he brought up a subject that I happen to know about, and I was like, actually, it was like this, and sorry, and I said sorry to derail your topic, but he was like, don't ever say sorry. You brought up details specific to it, and they're okay, something like that.
Well,
I'm paraphrasing.
you can have extensive notes for what you want to discuss in a show, and that's perfectly fine. But if you can't ebb and flow with your show, it gets stale and stagnant really fast, and you've got to stay um, organic with it. Is that
Right.
the word? Yeah, organic.
I was gonna say dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic's a good word for it.
And yeah, I still need to send out links because Raven wants one. I think, I don't know. Fluid. That's Keith is back in the chat. Hey Keith, I need to send you a link, Keith. And let me.
Good. That's very true. Things need to be able to adapt and do their especially in discussions. You can't just expect a person to. If you want that, look at the presidential debate and tell me sometime in the next millennium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like to think I'm lecturing because I'm here to learn as much as I am to pass it on.
Oh gosh, if we don't learn, we're already gone. There's nothing for us. In the learning process, like I said, we manage most of our learning between the time that we're born and 6 years old. But it doesn't negate everything after that. I think that when I got out and working, I didn't learn as much in high school as I learned out in the real world. And I learned it fast because it's survival of the fittest. A little elf and a Canadian must be talking about Keith.
Hey, welcome back, Derek.
Hi, Derek. Want to welcome everybody coming into the chat room. It's filling fast.
Yeah, I love it when that happens.
Every one of you, whether we're able to acknowledge you at the time or not.
Okay, I have Keith. Your link is in your email. Hey, Bob Perkins.
Shortly. Hi, Bob.
Okay, Keith, link is in email. And let me get back to. I need to send Raven the link.
I've been trying to wrap my mind about how AI will work in the human experience, and if it works. I've seen a number of videos regarding robots in the household, as household help. There's also some talk about their carrying children. So, I don't think I'd want to trust that. Hi, Keith.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Hey, Keith.
Long time no see, though, Nathan.
Let me. I know it's been a while. A couple hours ago.
Something like that.
Here. I had to leave your show early. I'm sorry, but I had to go. I had stuff pulling me away.
That's okay. I'll forgive you. I mean, let's face it, I walk out in the middle of my own show.
When you got to, you got to.
When coffee is gone, coffee is gone. There has to be rectified right then, or the whole thing collapses.
You just have to keep your priorities in order.
Exactly. There you go. Coffee is a priority. There's a sort of a question going on here. Let me see if I can find it. Did we see the latest episode of the Y Files Thursday night? It was titled AI Apocalypse. Well,
I did not.
No, I did not. Although I can imagine the whole idea is, oh my gosh, the machines are taking over.
Yeah, I'm not overly worried about that. I get agitated, they die.
You know, if the coffee maker sasses me, it gets shot 3 times. You know, that's all there is to it. I give it a head start. I'll admit that. But I've never had one outrun me yet.
See, I'm a firm believer preemptive strikes are actually functional.
Firm believer
I agree with that to an extent.
Oh, to an extent, absolutely. It's something that's never made any sense to me is this whole idea of rules of war.
There's no rules. That's the foolishest thing I've ever heard. They've tried. I mean, you know, the Geneva Convention and some of those, you know, you don't do this, you don't do that. But yeah, they did, and plenty of it.
Well, if you think about it, how can you, I mean, I could go real sideways, so I'm not going to do that to you. My mind will go
I know.
off.
I've heard you talk about it.
Oh, yeah. And it's like I've told people, I will talk about some things face to face or in private that I will not talk about online.
Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that I don't want to discuss online either.
Right. Well, I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about things that you have already discussed online about how our rules of war are a joke, and that if there is an issue arise, it's push one button and we'll never know what happened. We'll be in the Stone Ages, like that. That's
pretty much
what you've said on your show. I'm not trying to bring any of that other stuff up.
Oh, no. The reality is that's all it's going to take. 80% of the stuff we've got is on disc right now. And much of the hard copy has been eliminated.
It's hard to wrap your head around. I think that a good bit of just having created those weapons was insane. You know, I understand what they say their reasons were. I get that. But ultimately, to still have them on hand, particularly in the condition they're in, is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there you have it.
Yeah, they're on 5 1/4 inch floppy, 8-inch floppy.
Yeah.
And news, they're still on card, and they're still on the heck was it called? Punch cards.
Mm-hmm. There's still punch cards involved.
That was the first computer I ever worked on. Was punch cards.
Mine was
telling
an
it where to take itself and what to do with itself.
First one I worked on was an abacus.
Yeah.
I had a Tandy. It was a Tandy.
Yeah, I used to work on KRS 80, aka tape drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, this one I had was a Model 3, so it was a little advanced.
Oh, you already had that fine little disc.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one that I was programming was our school had a punch card fed computer, and the clerical class is the one who fed that thing. unfortunately, we have evolved not one bit in the last 50 years. And I strongly suspect that the ones programming and feeding most of this stuff are 17-year-olds.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm outside in the ballpark either.
Not really, no.
But
Although I think
okay,
it's interesting. I feel like we knew more at 17, you know, when I was a kid than they are now, which probably is just a perception. But
it is. It's a perception. However, there are some facts, and there are some things escaping today's kids. And I don't mean using punch cards or rotary phones or things like
mm,
that. That's fun to talk about. It makes a great meme. But I mean, being a person, getting along, knowing you don't eat this stuff, right? This
or
this is the
Tide
you don't
or
know,
Tide
or
Pods, you know.
Tide
That
Pods are
might be,
not
yeah,
snack crackers, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
with regards to that, I've never had a problem with people actually going, gee, you should try this. The person that comes up with that, okay, they're a little twisted. But how can so many people go, oh, there's a good idea?
I don't know. You
I don't
know,
get
know,
it.
I kind of do. I kind of do get it.
I
And
could, but I
there's
could
going to be
explain it,
plenty
but
of people
it's rude.
not like my estimation of it. We have an entire generation or two of kiddos who are in daycare or after school programs or ballet, dance, karate, what have you. You know, instead of home with mom and or dad
Mm, hmm.
Well,
and learning how to think, you know,
well, that's
not
just
what
it.
to
I mean,
think, how to think.
I go back a few years. I remember where it came to getting a driver's license. I remember a young lass drove the wrong way down a 3-lane divided highway
Hmm.
during her practical and still was given her license.
Oh,
Mm.
Now, in my world, you do that, you don't ever set foot in a car again.
well, if
Unless
they're
it's in
my
the
kid,
front.
they don't. You know, but I'll admit it. I failed my driver's test twice. The first time was the instructor got into my car and the door fell off in his hand. Instant fail right there. It was
The
my
thing is, I
father's,
think you'll
Hardware
ever
error.
see.
yeah, it was my father's brand new Chrysler 300. Brand new car. And it fell off. That was it, driving an unsafe vehicle. Then I
Mm.
go back, try again. I get the same guy, and he goes, "Oh, it's you." You know, like, oh, that was it. I just freaked, you know. He goes, "Okay." He says, "Make a left turn here." I said, "Your left or mine?" He goes, "Well, let's hope we both have the same left." So that was it. I was failed right there. Well, I learned to keep my smart mouth to myself. You know, well, not really
Man,
too well,
I hate to be the one to pop your button, but you did not actually learn that very well.
left or right.
You're
No,
left or
the keeping your mouth to
Oh
yourself.
no.
You know,
Forget
I
it. You know that button that everybody has that tells them to say this or not say this? Yeah,
yeah,
I don't have one of those.
I didn't have
So
one. Mine was never installed.
I
I had
almost
somebody
did
ask
not
me
get
the
my.
other day. They literally asked me. I forget exactly what the question was, but it was, is it this or that? And I looked at them and went, yes. You know, they went, what do you mean yes? Well, you asked if I wanted fries or potato fries or yam fries.
Yeah,
I said yes.
sure, why not?
One of them will work fine.
Hmm. Yeah, no filter. My filter is. I try to keep my filter on because I did this at the DMV as I was doing my tags.
Yeah, they
They
have
said
no sense of humor.
They've got no. Yeah, that's
they.
like airports don't have a lot of funny.
This was hilarious. No, not the airport. She asked me, and she was like, "Okay, what's your name?" And I tell her. She goes, "What's your middle name?" I said, "Danger." Oops. She just was like, I was
Are
like,
you
"It's
threatening
Lee.
me?
It's
Yeah,
Lee.
right?
It's Lee. Sorry, it's Lee."
No, that's as bad as when I got pulled over by the police one day, and I got pulled over, and I knew I was driving properly. And the poor woman, she pulls me over, comes up and goes, "Do you have any idea why you pulled over?" I says, "Yeah, the lights came on behind me." Now, bear in mind, this is at 3 o'clock in the morning. So she goes, "Okay, do you have any idea why why the lights came on behind you?" I said, "Presumably because you wanted me to pull over."
That
You
was
know,
the
and she's
start.
going,
Yeah.
"Okay, any idea why I may have wanted you to pull over?" She goes, I looked at her and said, "Not really." She goes, "Did you realize your back right tail light was out?" I says, "No, but then I don't usually follow myself around that much at night when I'm driving."
Hmm.
And she stops and it's like, "Okay, clearly you haven't been driving. You haven't been drinking." I said, "No, my boss had complained." You know, I mean, long and the short of it was, she told me to go to work, gave me a verbal warning to get the tail light repaired after work, and she was going to go grab coffee. But,
Yeah.
I never learned to
Okay.
filter even when people point guns at me.
I'm the
You
same
should
way with
put
that,
together a
with the
polka
gun thing.
band.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Hmm.
I don't know what I'd do with the polka band, honest to God.
I hope you would possibly phone 911 and get an ambulance for the dingbat that pulled the gun on you, but in my opinion, don't
Yeah.
bother.
Right. Somebody will have to figure that part out later. Maybe me. I don't know. But okay. Where were we? I was trying to read the chat and send links and stuff, so
we
I
we
wasn't.
actually were pulled over by a policeman coming out of El Paso last couple weeks ago. And do you know why I pulled you over? I said, I have no idea what's going on in your head. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be cute. You know, he goes like this. He goes, "Oh my God, here we go." Frank says, "Honey, I'll handle it." And he
Smart
did, you
move.
know. But then I dropped everything out of the glove box. Now this guy is antsy. He's a new cop. You can smell the new all over him, right? And I drop everything out of the glove box. I looked at him. I said, "Now don't panic." I said, "But I can't lean over that far to grab that registration." I said, "I want to open the door and put my feet out so that I can lean over and grab that registration for you. May I do that?" And you and I both know about El Paso cops. You explain to them exactly what you're gonna do, and
Hmm.
yeah, you can do that, no problem. I opened up the door. He had his hand on his pistol. I reached down, and I realized my air compressor that I have to have with me was covered up by a dish towel, and he was nervous as hell of that. So I pulled the dish towel off it. I leave that on there to keep it clean and to keep sun off it. and pull it off of there. I said, air compressor. He goes, oh, okay. Handed him the registration. I said, may I close the door? He goes, of course. Pulled the door shut. He was very nice to us. He really was. I mean, I got a ticket, and we got a ticket and all that, but
You would have loved
You
the
know.
cop that pulled me over and found an American pineapple on my front seat.
oh dear God. You don't
Actually, I had
mean-
2 American pineapples on my front seat, a sawed-off shotgun on my dashboard, and I was dressed as a road warrior. Boy, was he edgy.
You're lucky you walked away from that one. You really are.
Oh, I
my
settled him
God.
right down. I just asked him what was the worst thing he'd ever seen when he pulled somebody over, and he says, that'd be about it. I said, oh, so you've never pulled somebody over that had a white cane sitting on the passenger seat, eh?
Oh, that's true. Well, we haven't said hey to everybody in the chat room. There's a lot of people back coming on in.
Yep,
We're happy
we've
to
got-
see you. Yes.
we've got quite a few people. I need to push more buttons. Right. It says 11 watching right at the moment. And Mindport has come in. Chris, hi. I typed it out. Hey, Chris. Glad you're here. Sapphire Elf, Edgar. Who we got? Jeanette, Angel. Marvelous Marvin, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. I passed out a
it's
lot
been
of
a little
links.
bit.
Justin Thor LP, he was here a little while. RPG Grandma, Bob Perkins, y'all were here. Justin Shields, okay, awesome. Hi, hey y'all. Hit like and subscribe if you're here. You're Quantum, even by proxy. Crafting Gamer, glad to see you in here if you're still here. And Derek Galloway
Let's see.
came in
Got your
earlier.
Signs. Hi, Ed.
And I think that's everybody so far.
RPG
I don't know.
Grandma.
Was it?
Saw her.
Right.
Justin
No.
Shields, hi. Justin Thor, hi.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you just mentioned a toxic substance, and everybody flocks to your channel.
Oh,
Mercury.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Well, you asked me what I thought about all of it, and I thought, well, it's an interesting experiment. But other than that, I really don't know. I got thrown out of chemistry class. Something
Okay.
about
See, another
blowing the
thing we
windows
have in
out.
common.
So,
Yeah, they threw me out of chemistry class when I decided that when I told them that a low-grade hydrochloric gas wasn't actually a bad thing. At least not for me. Didn't register as a problem.
well, something about nitroglycerin really made them nervous. So, you shouldn't drop that stuff in a wastebasket. It tends
Yeah,
to blow
you
out
shouldn't.
windows.
Kid I knew dropped sodium into a toilet. That was brilliant.
Sodium in the toilet.
Nope, got thrown out. Never did
Yeah, I had
return.
brilliant classmates. One dropped sodium into a toilet. The other tried fishing his kite out of the high wire with a metal rake.
Oh no, no, no.
That's a selective. That's selective. What Darwinism? That's Darwinism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sort
that's Darwinism. But you know what the frightening part is? This was on a Canadian military base.
Oh boy. He was in all kinds of trouble, wasn't he?
Oh, you can't. I
was
mean,
in
I
all
don't
kinds of
understand the
trouble when I
problem.
got home. I can tell you that for nothing.
We had a gas leak. I figured out how to cure it. I lit the thing. Solved the gas leak. Didn't actually blow the building up.
Not for lack of trying.
Well, you know, to me it was reasonable. Not quite so much to the teachers.
Well, I told that teacher not to drop that stuff in the wastebasket. She
Hey,
wouldn't
I
listen.
like RPG grandma there. Safety tip. Don't put radioactive isotopes in the lunch fridge.
Sounds legit. I don't know.
And yes, they did find they did find Mine Forks up on there right now. They found mercury traces. Yeah, they found mercury traces. But something I recently found out about was this. They found rivers of mercury in with the terracotta warriors in China. A big amount of it. It's not reported. So much of these archaeological finds are not reported.
Well,
It was
it's like
Why?
what
Why
they
would
haven't
it
told you
be
about the
there? Is what I
hieroglyphs.
don't get.
You know, it's like what they
I
didn't
don't
tell
get
you
it
about the
either. Sorry.
hieroglyphs.
Sorry. Say again.
It's like what they didn't what they don't tell you about the hieroglyphs. On top of it
Yeah.
being a language, it's also a circuit board.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there is
plenty of
more about the
stuff.
hieroglyphs. I've got a theory about the hieroglyphs.
That one I'd love to
That
hear.
it's
Wonder if it
okay.
coincides with mine.
My
Cuneiform
theory
too.
of the hieroglyphs. Hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
Cuneiform. Cuneiform too.
Well, this is cuneiform is its own animal, but my
Mhm.
theory about the hieroglyphs is uh, okay. Those are symbolic, and we learned it as a language as people. But what did it mean to the people who wrote them, who developed that language? I think we adapted that to what we were looking at, that it was a kind of computer language that we just don't haven't caught up yet. We haven't figured out what they were doing because we went we went this way, they were going that way, and we didn't look at it in their context. That's just me. I have a feeling that that was some sort of computer language that was misinterpreted by us as spoken words and sounds and phrases.
Bingo. But
Not,
here's the funny part about that little thing. You are right. They went that way, mankind went this way. Somehow, and this is what concerns a lot of people, somehow mankind going that way in a totally illogical fashion will end up back here. They'll end up back on track. Yeah, I
yeah,
realize that doesn't
only
make sense.
humans can do that.
That is exactly the fear. They can do the most illogical thing and come out on top without even understanding what they did wrong.
Hmm.
That's right. And that's what's truly quantum about human beings. You can give them the worst set of circumstances, the most illogical information, and they'll still make it work.
Yep. I did see this, Chris, Mind Forks. I did see that 300,000-year-old axe, and also, oh, I could go down the archaeology rabbit hole, but I don't know if that's the focus of tonight's shows tonight.
You're the
But who
one that
knows? It is
should know
quantum.
what it is.
Oh,
It's
it's right
quantum, so
there.
you may not
Hmm.
even know what the focus is.
Yeah.
You know, we are as a species and as a race are infants, just infants, and trying to uh, interpret the universe in our own image, so to speak, trying to make sense of it all.
Yep.
See, if they're going to do that, they just got to realize that the universe is loopy. Then they'll understand it.
Yeah, it bends to us. And Mind Force is also saying they documented what they saw, not BS dreams. They knew portals. We are the ones misinterpreting what they're saying. We are the ones, modern people nowadays, our sciences are misinterpreting what they have said. And what they have said is quite clear. They saw things like Vimanas, giants, sky people. They're not making this stuff up, and they're not misinterpreting things. We're misinterpreting what they have said.
Yeah.
They have this stuff written down. Modern science is misinterpreted because now we have a narrative. Over the past few hundred years, we have crafted our own history. There's now, I don't put much credence into it, but they say that we've lost 1,000 years. I don't put much credence into that, but I know we have lost some time because look at not that far back, the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, when
Dark Ages
that one guy was talking.
were what, 500, 600 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not that long ago.
On.
But the sad
it's
part is mankind is doing exactly the same thing they did 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Literally the same thing.
Right, and it's people like us who keep that quantum spark going because hello, I'm literally building a UFO, right? And
just don't drink that stuff. It's really hard to digest.
Not gonna drink it. Not gonna drink it. When it gets put into its final thing, it'll be sealed. It won't be. You won't be able to get to it once it's in its final done. I'm going to seal it up.
Right about that. Hey, alien girl.
Hey, Amy. Ain't alien girls in here?
Yeah.
There's Amy. Hey.
Hi.
Let me get down here.
You know, with one of the things that it would pay us to take a little look at is that the Sumerian culture, as far back as we can get so far. I'm not saying they're the end all, because they're not. But in that culture, they trained scribes, and they trained them hard. I'm talking about from the time they were little kids. And one of the premises of their training was to report things absolutely accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to have a slight squiggle off line.
Nothing. No. There was no license for creativity at all. Now you think about that for just a second, and you look at some of the creatures that are part of the culture that are in the temples, you know, things that are depicted, spoken about, how things were done. Now, again, you go back to those scribes, they had to report it absolutely accurately. I know this because I spoke to an archaeologist who's made his life Sumerian culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we fail ourselves and each other because we're not learning about these guys' culture, which will tell us why they thought what they thought and how they did stuff.
Mm-hmm. We're misinterpreting what they left for us. And we need to go back to those books and reinterpret it, not with our modern filters, but with their filters. And that's just me. Go ahead.
Exactly. Because what people are doing is they're going, this doesn't make sense to me, therefore it must mean what does make sense.
Yeah. And you know, some of the old stories from the temples about the gods and the goddesses and the rest of it are very precise. Anki came out of the ocean wearing a scuba suit. Why does a god need a scuba suit? He doesn't, but I'll tell you what, an alien might.
Well, you know, scuba suits are nice for conversation.
Yeah. They have pictures of it. They show him coming out of the ocean, you know, and he's wearing essentially a diving outfit. So, and there's other depictions of other things. And Anna driving her star cruiser.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when people were talking, when we go back, and I can't quote history as far as this, this religion or that science discovery, but I do know when they started talking about the chariots or the chariots in the sky, they were not talking about horse-drawn chariots.
No. They were
I would have
just
loved to see the
relating.
horses that could do that, but
They were relating how they could. They were saying how they could relate to the thing. A vehicle. Pick what?
I have no
How
idea
y'all
what the
made it
TOS
back.
means.
TOS rules. Ooh.
TQS, the Quantum Show. That's a T-shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. Okay,
That's a T-shirt.
That would make sense.
Thank you.
I'm still working on merch, but I'm kind of distracted right now with
Yeah.
building of Vimana. It's a little bit distracting.
You should be able to do that.
Hey,
I mean, come on.
I felt totally competent. I put together a lampshade earlier. No, I won't lie. I watched Frank put it together.
Well, work fascinates me as well. I can stand there and watch it for hours.
Yeah, it's perfectly okay with watching him do stuff.
Actually, in all fairness, I have to sit to watch it for that long, but
it just, this doggone lampshade. I've been sitting here waiting on this thing for a while, and it came in 3 pieces: the bottom, the top, and then the shade. And I'm like, now what? Frank goes,
well,
I mean,
this is the modern world. Aren't we supposed to be able to pull that little thing and just wiggle your nose and have it come together?
Well, I'm a proponent of that, actually.
You're also a practitioner of that, but but that was when we were allowed to have imagination shows. I couldn't believe it when they shut down the Looney Tunes for violence, and then they release what they're releasing now.
Yeah, that's okay, but Looney Tunes is too violent. I cannot remember one time I ever shoved a stick of TNT, underneath me and attempted to ride it across a canyon. I'm fairly
especially
sure
no
I
one
never
that
did
size.
it.
And I mean the number
I have
of
threatened to
times
shoot a rabbit here and there.
And amazingly enough, I've never actually in all of my life seen a roadrunner outrun a train. I mean, I know they're fast, but this is pushing limits.
They don't. They actually, roadrunners are great creatures. We have them here in New Mexico big time. And I was out on a ranch years ago. I was paying a call on a client there, and their dog was running hell bent for Hades after a roadrunner. I mean, he was just ahead of him, and he'd speed up just a little bit and tease this dog. And suddenly he ran up a fence post. The dog was so completely focused on this doggone bird that he hit the fence post. His rear end flew up, hit the fence post again, and fell back down. And the road runner stood on top of this fence and went blah, 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 blah. No kidding. I thought it was hysterical. And so I'm watching this dog. This dog got up. He goes, holy crap, what was that? And I'm looking at him and I say, you okay, guy? He looked at me and he goes, and he didn't even see me. And I was a person on his place, and he was there to protect the place from me, outsiders. And I said, you okay? And he came over to the car, and I petted him, and gave him a drink of water out of my glass, and he seemed all right. That was a heck of a blow, though.
Well, yeah, I was
And he walked
driving.
me into the house. Apparently,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was a friend.
Got a little addled. No, I remember being broadsided by a Rottweiler. I was driving a car about the size about the size of a Fiat, right? I got broadsided by a Rottweiler so hard it shook the car. Ruined his day.
I'll bet. Didn't do too much for yours.
Well, it caved in my front left and my front right quarter panel.
Oh, man.
I swore I'd never run over another animal. And I had this Samoyed and a Rottweiler come over the fence, and I locked the wheels. The Samoyed dropped underneath my hood and was only about 3 inches from my headlight. And the poor Rottweiler caught the side of the car broadside.
Oh. Did you kill him?
No,
Oh,
addled
my
his
God.
brains really badly.
Oh, boy. Well,
He staggered for probably 10 minutes before he finally got his feet under him.
Like I said, this dog took me up to the house. I tapped on the door. The guy looked at me, looked at the dog. I said, "Don't be too hard on him. He had a close encounter with a roadrunner." He goes, "What happened?" I told him, and he goes, "Well, all right, you're gonna pass this time." I walked in, and the wife is helping the other dog have puppies, and she was losing one, and she goes, "Oh gee, this is just not coming around." And I picked up the puppy and gave it mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
I'm just looking at this one question in the chat room that Sapphire's asked,
Okay.
which I've actually got an answer for him. Because Sapphire Elf has just asked, do you think an alien world with no liquid water could end up with a spacefaring species like we did? We had underwater diving suits for 100 years before spacesuits. The Trezosian Empire doesn't have standing water on the surface, but they do have environmental suits and are very spacefaring.
Well, it makes sense. I would think it'd be kind of on the shallow side wherever they came out of, because it was the crash landing that they came away from. But
which one?
The Enki coming out of the ocean.
Oh, that was shallow water
landing.
they came out of.
But I'm just, I'm thinking it probably wasn't all that deep because, well, let's face it, that's an awful lot of pressure just to walk out of somewhere. But like you said, they have these wonderful environmental suits and stuff like that, and then most likely paid attention to what was going on here in the first place before they ever attempted coming in.
The answer there, Sapphire, is yeah, absolutely it can. You got to understand, for life to evolve like humans know it, you require water. You require a liquid medium. For other life, not always.
Yeah, our concept of life is very narrow, and it's only limited to, and it is quite limited to what we know here on the planet. There are other planets, and just because we have such a strict definition for life, doesn't mean they obey that definition.
Well, it's just seems unlikely to me that all planets would be equal, simply because, there's water, there must be life. I don't think life is contained that way. I don't
think life contains it all.
Exactly.
Life will find a way.
Yeah.
Life. I was gonna go. Life finds a way. Little Jurassic Park, but you beat me to it, Keith.
Sorry.
Nah,
if we ever meet, I'll beat you later. But just a thought. Bear in mind,
Oh, I'm coming to see you once I build my speeder bike.
Back there for earlier, there, Kate or Nathan. Sandbag and the last show. But
yeah, I did. I did, but it was worked in.
Yeah, well, I always have a good time doing stuff, but my mind is not linear. Most people's is, but mine is not. It literally processes a whole bunch of stuff all at the same time.
See, I keep getting told my mind just isn't present.
Yeah, well, I could be talking to somebody on the phone and talking and trying to write a grocery list in 3 different directions. So, or at least used to. I don't do it too much these days.
But then you don't talk to many people these days.
I tell them all to get out, just get out, I don't mind an intelligent conversation. I do not want to talk about who is mightier, King Kong or Godzilla. I simply will not do it.
Same.
And I don't care if it's that subject or 6 others like it. I do not care one bit about it.
See, I don't think that I know that King Kong got into the fourth square.
Into the what?
Into wrestling. His name was King Kong Bundy.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
I was saying something about being non-linear, but I think I've been trumped. I really do.
Oh, that's gonna bring all the people to the show. You say you got trumped. Oh, here we go.
I'm less excited about that than I am about any of the rest of it.
I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah.
It was possible to get less excited about that situation?
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, I did want to just.
Oh, I started it. I started it in the doggone chat, didn't I? Everybody's gonna argue about who's mightier, Godzilla or King Kong, or Megatron or somebody else.
And we just gotta throw Mothra into the deal to figure it out.
I bring that. I said that because I had 2 nephews years ago who would literally sit at Thanksgiving and argue about this thing. Just argue about it. Finally, one day, I picked up a lemon pie and I cut it in half. I said, "Which half would you like?" And he said, "This half." And I handed it to the other nephew. I said, "You get this half." I said, "And that's how damn much this conversation's worth to me." And they're like, "He got the bigger piece." There isn't a bigger piece, imbecile. It's in half.
No, I've seen some conversations go completely sideways at the worst possible times.
Oh yeah.
But all you have to do is be able to pick out one word, and you can derail the whole conversation. In case you hadn't noticed.
Godzilla was the word. King Kong was the word.
If I'm going to spend brain cells on stuff, I want it to be something that means something.
See, I'm lucky. I lost my marbles long ago. Mind you, last week I found them again. They were tucked into a little box in the back of the closet that I just emptied.
Now, if I can just get John to clean up in there, well, we might find my marbles somewhere.
That could be more challenging than finding your marbles.
Get him to clean up? Oh, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
The only way that I'm going to get some kind of relief in that room is to spread around some gasoline and just throw a match. I'm pretty sure that'd get the job done.
That would, but it'll take up the rest of the house.
It would. It would.
However,
and
I had a friend that used to be a practicing witch. She mispronounced one syllable of one word. She completely incinerated her entire apartment. Didn't even cause smoke damage to the neighboring apartment. They got out alive. You know, her and her kid got out alive, but the apartment she was in was completely incinerated. This is why you don't play with witchcraft.
Don't play. Know what you're doing.
Don't play with it. Don't play with it.
I have a sign
Sapphire.
posted very prominently in my bathroom that says "No demon summoning allowed."
Yeah, it sounds funny, but then there's a reason. We say things. I love how we can say things half jokingly, and the other half is not joking.
Half. It's only half.
That's
Sapphire's
like when you
bringing up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Steve.
that was not going to come out well, so it's best I bite it before it goes.
Okay. But Sapphire is bringing up, something about primitive communication. A cave has been found that's been collapsed opening over 2 million years before even Neanderthals, and there's always a debate distributing art. A debate. Okay. Anyway, but as it turns out, this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to post it up. But it turns out this 2 million year old human ancestor made stone markings so deep in a cave, it had to have fire to get in and out. And yes, they did find intermittent fire pits along the way. And after that, he says, so there's a huge debate now as to what human Homo sapien art, what's Neanderthal, and even going back further.
What's the difference between them? Probably not much.
Yeah, but it's...
Take a look at what they're publishing in cartoons now. It's the same thing. It's still Stickman.
Yeah.
But the thing is, humans
their
weren't the
stuff's
first
more
people.
evolved.
Humans weren't the first people drawing cave drawings. What's this look like? What's it?
I just think it's interesting that these other species that eventually became human beings, I think, some of them did anyway, had art, had abilities. And art is considered to be one of the quantifiers for intelligent behavior.
Yeah. You know, there were people way before humans showed up here. Mind you, humans didn't evolve from others. They evolved, and they did literally, albeit, from what I've seen, they evolved with accelerated DNA. Not adjusted, but accelerated.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, so I mean, they are purebred humans, but they didn't come from they weren't an alien implant. You know, people keep asking me, well, who brought the humans? Nobody.
No, they were created here. And that's Sumerian culture as well. Because part of what they've discovered in the writings allude to cloning and the joining of DNA structures. So it's interesting how that might have evolved. You know, but eventually they did create. And humans have not evolved as a organism in a million years? Not
Only
really.
small adaptations.
Yeah,
Only
That's
small
why I said they were
adaptations.
accelerated.
yeah. And you're
Mhm.
right. Probably because they accelerated it so that we would reach our physical abilities quicker.
Oddly enough, they accelerated it because of war, which is really the funny part. And it is why, in all fairness, from my understanding, that's why humans are such an aggressive race.
Oh yeah.
Dumber than fence posts in a lot of cases, but they are an aggressive race.
Mhm. Yeah, we were literally bred for it.
Yes, because humans are easier to repair than some of the other races. And that's because of the way the DNA modified. See, way back, like people have been working on the double helix and going, that's the backbone, but that's not the backbone. The backbone they discovered in the leading universities of today's world, they finally started looking at the triple helix. Right. And
Mhm.
that's where the answers are. But humans haven't pieced it together. They're still chalking up a lot of that information as junk DNA. And it's not junk DNA, it's just not understood yet.
Mhm.
Right. Sapphire put that up in the chat just a couple of seconds ago. It's not junk DNA, it's just misunderstood.
Yeah. Well, for years we yanked out tonsils under the assumption that they had no use, and yet anybody who's had tonsils taken out gets infections quicker and
Mhm.
other problems with the throat. Appendixes. Appendixes was there to filter out an awful lot of impurities, gallbladder too, and you yank those
Mhm.
out, and I'll tell you what, if you don't do a good job of it, you can kill a person that you're doing it to.
I would get a kick out of this. Death C is going, it's all fun and games until Demon tears up the bathroom.
Listen, that Lysol's there for a reason, I'm telling you.
Well, it's like I keep telling people. When people fall, it's not the fall that causes the problem. It's seldom the fall that kills people. It's that sudden stop on the ground floor that screws up the metabolism.
That's true. The fall doesn't screw up your day. It's a sudden impact.
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
But there was one guy.
Sapphire's.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
There was one guy that went and that jumped out of a parachute, and without a parachute, because it all candled. That's a long story. Landed safely on the ground twice. Shadow, how we doing?
Hey, what's happening, folks? Sorry I'm late. Little guy called me right after
He's connecting.
my show, and
He
then
said he was having power issues tonight.
Can you not hear him?
Apparently not. I can hear him fine.
I
I
don't
can
see
hear him.
anything on. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now I
really?
see
No,
you.
he's there and he was
Oh,
speaking.
I cannot hear you.
really,
Check
hear you
your
fine, Shadow.
sound.
I can hear Shadow fine.
I can hear him. I can hear him fine.
audio.
Nathan, it's the Quantum Show. What do you figure?
He's right. My volume is kind of low. How about now?
There you go.
Is that,
How
Yes.
about
is
that?
that
No,
better?
I'm still hearing you fine.
Better.
How about you, Nathan? I can go
hear you.
louder. I'm at 34. I'm at 34. I can go louder.
Nathan just needs special
You're good.
treatment
I
on
can hear
occasion.
you now.
Okay.
I think it was a connection issue, not a sound issue.
Okay, because I was having technical difficulties, and right after my show, I got a call from my son who's in Mexico right now, and I couldn't, just blow him off, But Justin, I didn't leave early. I left like right on time. But yeah, I should have been here sooner.
That just means
So
you're a
what-
wizard. Because you always leave right when you're expected.
There you go. So what I missed, guys.
No, there's
Well,
an
we've been
awful
going
lot going on
over,
here.
yeah, past civilizations, how we have been created here. We weren't brought here. Um, Cavemen had shoes, and where did we learn all this? Misinterpreted language from Egypt, and and modern science's lack of context. So because it didn't make sense to them, what makes sense to me? And that's the tip of the iceberg that you missed. We went all over the place so far, and it's only been 1 hour.
That's kind of par for the course with the show. And thanks again, Nathan, for popping
It's
into my
what
show.
we do.
And it was real good to see James, all three of us on the same screen. It's real nice to see you guys. I haven't seen you in a while, Lynn. And
I'm
Keith,
sorry.
it's always a pleasure.
Nice seeing you again.
I
You
had
too, buddy.
some family issues I had to handle.
Well, I hope it all turned out good for everybody.
No, it didn't.
Thus far, not bad.
So,
I may just
sorry
have
to hear
turned the government around so they're actually willing to help me for the next couple of years.
Good.
that's good.
Well, I figure, I think the term that was used on Under Siege was, well, if we can't control you, we might as well support you.
We'll call you crazy.
The
and support
roundabout
you.
way.
They told me I've had 3 shrinks tell me I'm perfectly fine. Which might give you an idea how much I trust shrinks.
We talked about his mother. What
Yep.
can I say? So, no, I had a lovely conversation with a psychiatrist one day. We talked
How were
about
they
his
after you
mother.
got done?
Well, we talked about his mother and how he felt about all that, and you know,
Oh my
before
God.
he knew what happened to him, I said, what is your going rate? He told me. I said, I want $5 more.
Yep.
And he goes, why? I said, because I didn't invite you here. He gave
I
me
was
$5 bill, and I never saw him again.
I like the last one the first one I was dealing with. The last 3 years I spent helping him figure out how to connect with his new line of clients. Because his new clients were psychokinetics and telepaths.
Oh boy.
And he had no clue how to cope with them.
None at all.
But it worked out well. My parents stayed off my back. He said I was fine. And we went to work on his clients.
So I'm the weirdo, huh? Okay.
Okay.
You're the one that didn't go and see one, eh?
I have no experience with those people, those kinds of people. My mom, she probably
was
paid for some
good.
guy's, somebody's college. But yeah, no, I stayed away from all that.
No, I remember
Probably
going
the
in
best
to visit.
idea.
Went in to visit a friend of mine that was locked up in there. And I was talking to another young lass there right in front of the psychiatrist. And I looked at her and I said, there's only one fundamental difference between you and I, aside from you're female and I'm male. Right? She goes, what's that? I says, I knew the answer they were looking for before they asked it, so I didn't get locked up. If you know how to tell them what makes them happy, they'll leave the signature off the dotted line.
Yeah, they have no idea how to cope with you or me. So
Sure they do. It was very nice meeting you. Go home.
yeah.
That's actually what the last one told me.
I haven't.
That one I do have to take.
Phone.
Yep.
Okay.
The heat is on. Anyway, speaking of mother, huh? Anyway,
I will mute him until he gets back because I don't want any kind of conversation being overheard, but even by
of
accident.
course not. Yeah.
Okay. When he comes back on screen and I can't hear him, I'll put him back on.
Well, if I see him, I'll see him before you do. I'll yell. Well, I won't yell,
Okey-doke.
but I'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, but that is where we went, Shadow, and I went over a little bit about Mercury, and you mentioned one toxic substance, and everybody floods in. So, and then Trump got mentioned.
I said Trump.
So I'm waiting for those guys to show up.
Godzilla and King Kong. That's all I said. It has nothing to do with politics.
My money be on Trump.
I should put that in the title, just capital letters, Trump, and oh boy, will they be disappointed.
Yeah.
Get the views and all those thumbs downs. That's okay.
Clickbait
I'm not
there,
gonna do
boy.
A big
No,
time.
I wouldn't recommend it just because
Keith is back.
that's not what we really do here, you know. There's plenty of other places you can go to my channel and get all freaking. Trump and I had pancakes. Okay, again with the pancakes, dude. Everybody knows waffles are the superior breakfast bread. Or French toast. French toast is pretty damn good. Actually, I think
Coffee. Just
French toast.
coffee.
French toast.
Well, I'm
with
just
French
going to
toast.
insult everybody down in the deep south, and grits are not the thing to eat. I
I've
tried
never
them
had
once, and that was more than enough. Huh?
Them's fighting words? Is that what you're about to
Probably.
say there, Nathan?
No, it's not fighting words. I mean, some of us want to eat horse feet.
I got no
some of
problem
us
with other
don't.
people eating them.
I'll try them before I pass any sort of judgment, just because, you know, I'm a city boy.
You've never
Born and
had
bred.
grits?
Never had grits,
Never?
but yet, and yet somehow I got the nickname Cowboy. I go figure.
Yeah, I
And
think
never
that has to
had
do with your
grits?
appearance.
Oh,
Moniker, I will gladly carry with me for the rest of my life, but
Don't know where it
Nathan, this
came
is a cretin you got sitting next to you. Not
and
ever
Raven says
eaten.
waffles suck, so do grits. Okay, Raven, what is the superior breakfast food then? Breakfast bread. I'm gonna go with French toast, or if you've ever had like a grilled sourdough breakfast sandwich.
No, I'm personally of the opinion that a rasher of bacon on its own works really well for me.
I've got 6-8 pounds of bacon in my refrigerator at any given time. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of bacon and eggs. I like if I'm going to eat breakfast at all.
The collecting food show. Sorry,
what?
guys.
Or what?
Nathan typed in.
Quantum
Of
food
course.
show. Hey, we skirted the issue and waited for you to get here.
Well, I will tell you, the one food that I tried and I recommend you absolutely avoid it at almost all costs. I was told it was absolutely great. It's not bad for you. It's not dangerous. It's not poisonous. But my cousin used to swear that ketchup and vanilla ice cream was really good. I'm telling you, she was wrong.
I'm going to agree with you, but I did find out that what was it, like noodles Romanoff or some crap like that with ketchup was just like mind blowing.
Are we talking mind blowing really good or mind blowing really bad?
Oh, really good, really good.
Yeah, just I'd asked. No, that one I would agree with.
You guys are making me hungry.
Jay, I feel intensely nauseated, and he's hungry.
I actually had an omelet for dinner. It was pretty epic. Go Godzilla.
I'll tell you what's an interesting thing to eat, and that is pizza. Take a pizza dough, par bake it, put a little bit of cream cheese mixture on it, maybe some ranch dressing, ranch
I
seasoning.
got to ask, what is par baking?
Par baking? A short bake before actual baking, before you put anything on it.
Mm.
And a little par bake, and put squash blossoms on it. Hey, howdy. You don't
You know,
eat
Raven,
so
I will
good.
not argue with you. Assuming it's vanilla, or I'll even deal with angel food cake. Just not chocolate.
You
Not
don't
for me,
like
anyway.
chocolate cake?
I don't like
Take care,
chocolate.
Tim.
Period.
Have a good weekend, buddy.
Have a good one.
Night, Tim.
And Raven chimes
Pizza
in once
and
again, but
eggs. Now you
cake is the
can.
superior
I've done
food for
that.
any meal.
You've done
I,
which?
I've used pizza and eggs. Scramble the egg. Make the egg up. Put it on a pizza crust with
Well, what's wrong with that?
home style gravy, and bake it with lots of cheese. Hey, howdy, it's good.
I don't see a problem with that.
Mm.
Nathan,
I
you
never
died
had
a little
any
inside.
left.
Do we throw you still way off the
Well,
rail?
that's okay. That's okay
Sausage
because I
gravy?
actually can throw in on that. When I was in Germany, there had Tony's Pizza all over the place. It's like the generic name for every pizza place. And they had a chef's surprise and a chef's special. And I was like, you know what? Let's get one of those. Oh,
What was
boy.
the surprise?
It had artichoke hearts and pickle hearts, which this was surprisingly good. Hamburger meat, an egg, easy, sunny side up egg. They baked it, so it was, I don't know how that would be called. And it was surprisingly
Over
good.
easy.
They don't do ranch over there. Hmm?
Over easy. That's what
Over
that would
easy?
be called.
Okay.
Or even sunny side
Okay,
up,
well, they
depending
did
on
that.
how baked it is.
See,
Right.
I've got way too many. I've got way too many friends that are cannibals. Because take a look at what Destic C wrote in the chat room. And my first thought was, how tight do you how thin do you slice them to make that work?
Okay.
I think I'll pass.
Okay.
Where's my bucket?
And-
I don't know.
I told you my
don't
mind
know
goes
about these
sideways.
Guys. Breakfast food's really a fairly simple matter. But if you're feeding a whole bunch of people, a breakfast pizza's the way to go. And you don't put tomato sauce on it. You put country gravy on it. And your scrambled eggs, gravy it again, throw some sausage or bacon on there and some cheese and oh yeah. Eat up.
Yeah.
That's essentially what my ex makes for Christmas, only she throws ham in it as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sure.
You know, she
Now
uses
I'm getting hungry,
a
too.
homemade hash brown base and then does all of the above.
Well, I haven't had a good meal in about a week and a half, so I'm overdue. So,
Yeah, I might end up at the Waffle House tonight and say, I got an idea for you.
that's a thought.
Fried chicken and waffles does sound pretty damn good.
I was thinking crepes myself. I like crepes.
Gee, I was personally thinking crepes with an I, but you know, that's a whole different issue.
Not crepes. Crepes. Not like an O crepe. It's O crepes, okay?
An old crepe is a thin donut.
A crepe
I
is
thought crepe was like a tortilla made out of something else stuffed with
Eggs.
stuff.
It's a very thin. It's a very
Something
thin
else
layer
stuffed
of
with
eggs
stuff.
that's put
Yeah,
down.
yeah. Technical,
Just
real
put-
technical.
I just want to make sure I was understanding the ingredients.
You put anything in them. Your cannibalistic
much.
friends would probably enjoy that concept. But you know.
Well, that's why I
they're
always worry when
particularly
people say they're
good
bringing
with-
finger food.
Yeah. Oh God. They're especially good with fruit, like cherries or peaches or things like that. Whipped cream.
What is this
Those are
fruit you speak
nice.
of?
The crepe can be stuffed with it.
I only eat like meat and meat products.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I eat too. But this is for everybody, and not everybody is stuck with a carnivore diet like I am.
See, here's the
Oh,
thing,
there's a
Shadow.
carnivore diet?
Yes.
See, Shadow,
Oh,
you're a
okay.
second generation. You'll eat fruit on a second generation. Feed the fruit to a horse, then eat the horse.
Hey,
Well, that
unless I
makes
guess,
sense to me.
does pineapple count as a fruit?
I don't
The
know.
pineapple is a
Because
fruit.
I'll put that on a pizza and freak everybody the hell out.
He
You'll
really
really
is
freak
a
him out and put it on
savage
without
up there,
cutting it down to size.
Nathan. Well, I've heard of tropical fruit and stuff put on pizza, just not as it applies to me. So,
My brother had a
anyway.
bizarre habit of putting the weirdest things on pizza.
Oh yeah.
Mind you, my brother had a tested IQ in excess of 180, so he had to try weird things to find something new.
Yeah. Well, I've had fruit pizzas. I've had.
Badmouth fruit weirdo. Hey, hey.
Oh, that's Keith, not me.
No,
Anyway.
that's Justin. Justin was just on my show, and I guess he was missing me for the 40 minutes that I was absent. I'm sorry, bud. But, little guy's got to come first, and then I was having some technical issues. So if I disappear, I'll do my best to come back. But I normally have two different tablets that I work with, and one of them froze up, and the only way to fix the problem is to let the battery die. Unfortunately, it takes about a week for the battery to recharge. I don't know why. It's a crap
There's no
battery.
problem. If you need the battery to die, if you need your battery to die, just set and don't do this, people. This is a bad idea. Just set the laptop in the bathtub. The battery will die like that.
Oh no, it's a tablet. It's a tablet. I've got a really good
So
laptop,
everything
but
else.
coffee works good too, I hear.
It does. Coca-Cola is even better for it.
No.
Makes the connections
no,
really
no,
stick.
No. We're not keeping Best Buy in business now, guys. Try to get it together.
See what Justin is putting, what you've just popped up there. That's what we call an Hawaiian pizza up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An Hawaiian plus bacon.
No, I've made fathead pizza that was to die for. It was good.
Did you say fathead pizza?
I sure did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's made with mozzarella, butter, and Parmesan cheese. Microwave
Well, I hope
that
if you're
thing.
going to melt butter on it, that you put a good ridge around it for the crust.
Yeah, well,
Because having that much butter poured into the burner is going to be a pain.
it's not a burger. It's poured.
No. It's pizza. But
Oh,
you
no.
put it in,
You take that dough that you make. That's
Yeah.
the fathead dough. You spread that out on a piece of parchment.
Oh, okay.
Bake that thing, and then make a meat lover's pizza out of it. Bacon, chicken, whatever you got in the fridge. Just throw it in there.
There's another kind of pizza to make?
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. If you're gonna put any kind of sauce on it, use gravy.
See, my dad had to travel a lot, and he used to talk about roof rabbit for dinner.
What
Right.
is it?
House cat,
What's it called again?
roof rabbit.
Roof rabbit?
He called them roof rabbits.
Oh, I'm scared.
Domestic
Squirrels.
cats.
Squirrels?
Domestic
Oh.
cats.
Oh, so many cats, so few recipes, right? I think Raven will have our
Sorry, Raven.
lights and livers for that.
Raven is not running a cat ranch.
See, I'm absolutely certain that one little problem with putting pineapples on the pizza is if you actually pull a pin out of them, you've got a mess.
Nice.
I like how you think. Anyway, I think Frank said something similar about it. You know, that's horrible. Yes, it is. It was bad. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'd apologize.
Hey,
for
Grandma.
many people-
Sapphire has a.
Hi, Grandma. Welcome to the show. Long time no see.
I'd apologize, but then people would think I was sorry about what I said.
I'm going to put that one back up because that actually sounds really good. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what's good on a pizza, and this is gonna sound really
That actually
strange.
does look good there, Sapphire.
Yeah, you know,
Gonna have to pass.
cucumber on pizza, even though
Yeah.
you've cooked it, is very good on it.
Whatever you do, don't put zucchini on a pizza. It's
I don't
just a
care
bad
for
idea.
that. It just doesn't taste good to me. Cucumber works real fine, and I don't know why it should be different, but it is.
Good to know there, Sapphire. I do like. Does just eating pineapple count? Because I only drink water, but like all the fruits that I do consume, I won't juice them. It's got to be just the actual fruit. I've got a massive pineapple in my fridge. I got to chop up before too long, or it's going to end up in the dumpster like all my bananas.
All you gotta do is whistle and tell it to get out of the fridge. It'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll walk out on its own.
You leave it long enough, it
Okay.
can try.
See, this is proof positive that Nathan's got to be way more discerning on who he lets into the chat room.
Anchovies? Savages.
Anchovies, I really don't
That's
mind,
worse
but I
than my
did try
cat
caviar
comment.
one day. You know, like anchovies, I like. Caviar, way too fishy.
Not
Well,
into either
I've
one.
eaten carp caviar. Because I had to, there was nothing else. But
Sapphire, all you gotta do to make watermelon enjoyable is add a 26er vodka. It'll be great.
I knew you were going to say that. I swear to God, I knew you were going to say that.
The Quantum Show does not suggest or promote excessive drinking or drinking of mercury. Do not do either. They're
No.
both
No, I
bad.
absolutely agree. You always do
Did you
things
accidentally drink some mercury there, Nathan?
Yeah. The normal
No,
things it's okay
no,
to
I
drink
did not.
in moderation.
That came
The
up.
ones that
Edgar,
Nathan plays around with, you don't drink, period.
I think Edgar's
Mm-mm.
about to put pineapple juice in his coffee.
So Nathan, I missed the first hour. What happened with your project? How'd that go?
Okay,
How's your
I'm still
Mercury
waiting on
project go?
parts because I
okay.
thought I had. Yeah, I'm waiting on parts. I've got the Mercury. The Mercury got here, right? However, I've got the magnet. I've got the wires. I need some coils, the stainless steel containers. But this is the desktop one. The steel containers and some step-up transformers. I've got to order the step-up transformers. And there's a world of them, so I got to be specific. So that's where I'm at. I'm still in the research stage, but
Okay.
so that's where I'm at with that. The experiment is to continue. I haven't done it yet, but I'm not going to do it wrong because this stuff is expensive and I don't want to like mess it up or seal it. Okay, the final product is going to end up in a sealed container. And if I seal it, it's sealed forever. And I don't want to mess it up after that. If it's working. so I don't want to spend it too much real quick. And I'm
You
not
could
going
be
to,
like
what you call,
Thomas
half-ass it.
You could be like Thomas
What's that?
Edison and do 400 experiments that they discovered successfully didn't work, so he doesn't have to repeat the experiments again.
I may end up doing that, but we shall see. Okay, Sapphire saying
Welcome to the
pull
show,
apart a
crafting gamer.
microwave. Pull apart a microwave if you want a jillion gigawatts, but I don't advise it. The capacitor is so large and the transformer so yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that. I want to go from
I
6
gotta
volts
ask.
to like
Raven is saying something ignited her superpowers, and I'm like, oh my god, what has she done?
oh no,
I'm more
I think
concerned
she
with
means,
what the superpowers
Is
are.
that the watermelon trick or what? You know, I gotta know.
I gotta leave that one alone because I could get in trouble on that.
I would like to know too. Did something happen? I would like to know, or is it what is happening?
It's just too insane. These guys are still making up their recipes as they go along. Bit of thermometer in half.
Oh my god!
Oh dear God!
Oh right, that.
Oh boy!
And look at it; she's still breathing.
For now.
Well, true.
Depends on, I guess, when she bit the thermometer, right? You know, if it was yesterday, I'd go to the doctor. If it
Ain't
was,
no point going to the doctor if she did it yesterday.
I think she should really give it up. Anyway.
Of course, the other question that automatically comes to mind is did she break it first and let the mercury out, or did she bite it in half with the mercury in it?
I don't know.
Either way, it's still a bad idea.
It's bad idea is the understatement of the year.
Not quite, but it's close.
She was 7 and survived it. How about that? The girl has superpower.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, neither. I know she does.
No, that's why I got a kick out of the poor doctors when they decided at 5 they were going to diagnose me dead. I didn't agree with them, so I left.
That seems the most logical course of action.
Confused the doctors. Mind you, it got funnier.
Morbid curiosity. I gotta ask.
What?
She says Mercury tastes dreadful, and being the dungeon master at heart, I've got to ask, what does it taste like?
Oddly enough, actually, I think you can safely say it tastes like mercury, because it doesn't taste like chicken.
You beat me to the punch on that one. Yeah.
Intriguingly enough, scenario, there's a lab accident. Nathan gets superpowers.
I already figured. I found out what my superpower was earlier. Was it this week?
Yeah. What's that?
It's a weird one. It's connecting the right people with the right time and place or occupation.
See, and I've got this neat little superpower. I can put both size 10 feet in my mouth at the same time and so still be able to talk. Yeah.
Sapphire, mercury won't leave the body. That's the problem. It's a heavy metal.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
I'm only gonna argue with him so much as that Freddie Mercury might have been awesome, but now he's
a bit stiff.
Oh, I don't think there's a bit to it. I think he does.
Oh dear God. Raven?
Metal, 30 feet, and a peppermint.
Now, I gotta ask, Raven, why were you eating dirty feet? I mean, I can understand the man as a peppermint, but I don't understand why you were.
I think I did it. I think I got him down. There you are. Yeah.
No,
You
no,
can
that was freaking. That was all on Keith, man.
And Edgar says that Nathan has waffle power. I don't know. Do you make waffles? Nathan isn't going to answer that one. Not happening. I don't think I've ever tasted dirty feet, but I don't believe they have anything to recommend them.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that, Raven, but not really.
The smell and the taste, huh? Yeah, that's what she said. So
Wow. Can we just
You
go
do
back to
realize
food?
the show went completely sideways from where it was. In case you hadn't noticed, Nathan, you got tied up doing calculations and the whole thing went right sideways.
And I'll take complete responsibility. It's his fault.
I was going to say, you can blame it on me, Nathan. I started the food talk.
See, I grew up in the military, so I understand the game of pass the buck. I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. You didn't see me do it. So there.
Or there's the other one that we grew up with. My mistake. You're wrong.
Justin. Sorry, buddy.
Glad to see you here.
I can't help you, man. I got the syrup, but I don't have the pancakes, and
I don't have any coffee. Well, I've got coffee. I just don't have any made.
Welcome to the show, Luna. Lunar Sparkles, sorry.
Lunar Sparkles.
Nathan is busy eating waffles.
I'd rather be chasing them around on the tabletop. I'm not quite certain which.
We cannot hear you there, Nathan.
Nathan, you are not saying anything. I think you pulled something out.
Your mouth is moving, but your voice isn't coming through at all.
Right.
There you
Don't
are.
you do that this way.
It's better.
Better?
Better.
Yeah,
Oh, except for now we can
Okay,
hear
I had
you.
to replug. I thought about putting the thing together and taking it to work and showing them off, but then I was like, unsealed container of mercury near airplanes, not going to happen. They can come out to me. I'm not going anywhere near
idea.
work with this stuff.
Yep. I think
Well,
that's a great
not
idea,
just
but I do
that,
think
you don't need them. You don't need them taking your ID and walking away with them. And they will.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not my idea. This is literally thousands of years old, and I'm just putting it together now. And I'm going to do this a lot, y'all. I'm not going to be producing anything, but I'm going to be putting together several, because anyone who wants one, I'm not going to be able to buy them a speeder bike, but I will be able to help them make one, and I'll work with what I got, and so will they. I would really love to use a jet ski as a base for a frame, because it's the right shape. But if I have to use a riding lawnmower, I will. Or a four-wheeler, I will. When I get to that point. But I'd really like to use a jet ski because it just looks cool. One of those ones that have the thing going up and down that were outlawed because they kill people, they drown people. I'll bolt it in place. I don't need the thing that goes up and huh?
Well, if you think there was an old ride that used to go up and down. They called it the salt and pepper shaker. Didn't exactly kill people, but it certainly made a lot of them think they had died. Oh, one of the amusement parks I grew up
that.
at.
Okay.
If you want a machine that goes up and down, the salt and pepper shaker at the amusement ride goes up and down a lot.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. There was a jet ski back when I was a kid that had it would fold down, and they outlawed them because they are uncontrollable. Because when you're bouncing on waves with a fast moving machine, you would go down and then go up, and you're using the throttle like that. So they outlawed it, and you get things, the sit down ones and the fixed position ones now. But those just look cool, and I would really love to use one of those. But that's where I'm going to. Like, if I can use the airframe from a jet ski, I will be. It's not an airframe. I know everybody's gonna be pissed off because this is one of them world-changing things. What?
Hey, Frank.
Is there a joke that I'm not seeing?
Just reading some of the comments.
Okay. But yeah, it really is. This this stuff that I'm working with, it's forbidden for a reason. And I'm gonna keep doing it because you know what? It's like the crystal tech. It just is coming to me and it feels right. So I'm gonna do it.
Well, you probably
just like the
had
crystal
it right
stuff.
the last time. You probably did it in another life and had it right then.
Maybe. I don't know. But it feels right now, so that's what I'm going to go with. And
This is the worst
I'm trying
thing
to read
that
the
could
chat, too.
happen. Oh, don't ask us that. We could go on and on.
What's the worst thing that we're talking about? People that look at the subquantum world and ask what's the worst thing that can happen? A hiccup, the planet that cracks the planet. But, you know, mind you,
well, the
I'm
worst
a
thing that
believer
could
that's
happen.
not the worst.
Right. The worst thing that could happen to me is I open a wormhole in an open cockpit and I disappear. That would be the worst thing that happens to me.
You go. If only you go.
Would it be the worst thing if it took you to like someplace really cool? I mean, we'd miss you, but
that wouldn't.
I'd also be happy for you, you know.
Oh, it's not. I don't know. I'm willing to see what happens, but I'm being very cautious with this stuff.
Yeah, I'm quite willing to watch what happens when you get sucked into a wormhole.
Yeah, I am. You know, you're cautious, but you're excited. I'm that way. I'm cautious, but I'm really stoked about this. I mean,
I keep missing that part about the caution thing.
Yeah, well, I haven't even opened the jug yet, so caution.
Safety first. We don't need to,
put a mask on.
Nathan in the hospital.
I'm gonna get a respirator.
If you're gonna,
I'm gonna get the one.
Do something that's gonna put you in the hospital, go that one extra step. No, don't.
That will be what? If I go to the hospital, go one extra step.
I said, if you're going to put yourself in the hospital, go the one extra step. No, don't.
That makes sense.
I won't.
I already tried the route to the morgue. It was great, but it's a real wake up call for the. Well, it was a wake up call for the poor tech.
I'll bet.
Well, it was funny when you think about it.
What about one of those?
For me, it was that situation that was right in the minute, right after the first Dawn of the Dead came out.
Oh yeah,
fresh on everybody's mind.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can understand why the poor guy passed out.
Well, I was.
Yeah, I talked to this with the
hospital I was doing some medical technician work, and I was in the hospital. I came down the freight elevator with the funeral, one of the funeral directors, and body sat straight up and screamed. I looked at it and I said, "Not quite there yet, huh?" and walked out of the elevator. Now,
Wow.
he says, damn. He said, get off the car, Joel. She didn't buy it.
I like what Desic's got there. Yeah,
Oh,
I want
people
that.
have terrible sense of humor in hospitals.
They do. They don't
Not
handle
Humdar,
the
right,
idea.
Justin?
Yeah, people in the hospital don't have much of a sense of humor either. There's
No.
some places where jokes just don't apply. Hospital, police stations, and airports are among the tops.
Oh, I don't know about that. They have humor. It's just very, very dark, and that's mostly to keep them from screaming and running into the dark themselves.
Well, I do remember I was handed a transcript from which airline was it? The Australian airline, Quantum, I think it is, or Quorum, or something like that. No, Qantas Airline.
that
They
applies.
Quantum does apply, but they said I was sent a whole list of actual transcripts from the repair department. Right, things like they dropped this plane off and they said left engine missing, right, and the repair crew writes back, left engine found attached under left wing.
Oh yeah,
It's missing.
Techs are crazy guys.
Oh, the aircraft jokes that I hear, it's cool. I mean, I should get up a list of them and put them on the about page. I'm starting to stutter. Maybe I'm hungry.
You might be hungry, or you
Nah.
might be like, oh, it's pushing midnight on your guys' end. It's only 10:30 on mine.
Yeah, same here.
11:30 here.
12:30 on me.
That may be why
12:30
you're
here.
starting to stutter.
Okay, but yeah, that's where I am with that. And Sapphire's talking about hoverboard. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
you
next
want
part.
to.
It's good. Okay, here's the dream. Here is the vision. I'm riding a speeder bike with a hover bike on my back and a robot sitting down there and a tinier robot in my pocket, all floating. Love it.
See,
I'd
now
pay
I'm a
to see
little
that.
twisted.
Oh, somebody
This
can
is
get
gonna be
that
one of the
done,
robots.
It's you.
This is going to be one of the robots.
Oh, nice.
Where's the? It's from Star Wars.
Now, please tell me that thing actually has a proper working either tractor beam or bore laser. Either one will work.
In the show, it does.
I
This
want
one
one in
does
real
not.
life, though. I'm a firm
Let me
believer
figure
that
that one out
laser is a real
next
handy
week.
little sidearm.
Let me figure that one out next week, okay? No, but yeah, that's what that is the goal, right? That is my goal, and part of that goal is going to be I will be flying to each one of your places and saying hi. Better take pictures now because here come the men in black.
I was gonna say, let me know in advance so I can get rid of those guys with the pizza or something.
Yes, I think that was just terrible.
I'm gonna be visiting everyone. If I get, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm gonna go see Dave because apparently he hasn't seen a flying humanoid yet. It'll be me. I'll be that humanoid.
Okay.
See, all you need to
Of
do
all
is build a
his
catapult and
experiences.
you can actually see a flying, well, that's a flying cow, but
Does
But
anybody
yeah,
deliver donuts?
I don't know, but I know up here I've heard
Somebody
tale
say
that
donuts.
that Skip the Dishes will go and get donuts up here. I don't know if they'll do it down there.
Donuts? There's
I
only
don't know. I've
one
never had
kind of donuts. That's Krispy Kreme.
I have no idea. The only donut shop I know of in the States personally are Robbins, and there's another one down there. But Robbins is the only one I personally recall the name of. But I'm not a real strong donut eater. They don't make meat donuts, is what I found out.
Krispy Kreme is a Texan phenomena. I think they've branched out to some other places, but
there's one down the street from me.
Okay.
I don't think they
Good.
deliver though.
Probably not.
Uber may
wait
go and
for
get
ya.
them for you.
Yeah, we'll wait
Marvelous
for you.
Marvin, yes, Nathan is in Tennessee.
Yeah, that would be a hard give up, I'll tell you. I don't eat them often, but I do like them. Especially those ones that are the kind of a fat little bun sort of arrangement that have whipped cream in them.
Well, that makes it a write-off.
I'm sorry?
I don't like whipped cream.
Oh. They have custard too.
That wasn't an improvement.
Well, then we'll have to get your raspberry one.
That one I can work with.
Okay.
It's kind of like these geniuses that came up with chocolate mints. I don't like chocolate or mint.
Well, don't eat it.
That was my thought.
Sorry, I didn't see you putting one up when I didn't see you putting one up. Sorry about that. Marvelous Marvin, what end of Kentucky are you on? You're on East or West Kentucky? Because Kentucky's got it going on wherever you are, but depending on where you're at, Kentucky is just cool.
And from what I gather, it's kind of windy at some times of the year.
Yeah, Crafting Gamer, I DM'd years ago, and I made my own world, Earth and all its people. East, perfect. You got goblins, bro. East Kentucky, goblins.
What can you do?
Goblin country.
How do you get rid of goblins?
Oh, I don't even know. There have been so many reports of just...
I've heard of them.
I don't
know what they are. I don't know how they operate. I know nothing about them.
Okay. That is Hellier country. East Tennessee and all of Kentucky, East Kentucky rather, they got goblins. And goblins apparently are someone who landed, and they're considered more ultra-terrestrial because they live in caves and stuff over that a ways.
Are they like trolls?
No, they're
okay.
Oh, they're not like trolls. I haven't read enough about them. It's only folklore and legend stuff. But when you hear of someone talking about turkey tracks in stone, that's goblins. Not he was talking about turkey tracks in stone. That's 1 million years old. Hold on a second. That doesn't fit with anything I know about turkeys or 1-million-year-old stone, right?
No.
And because turkeys evolved to what they are, and 1 million years ago they were dinosaurs. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, but they were big turkeys.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I mean, you take a look at the Deinonychus. Deinonychus was a very big turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole lot brighter than the modern one.
The people in the miners, or not the miners, but the hunters will talk about turkey tracks in stone. And that right there was a giveaway. I'm like, wait a minute, how old is that stone? Turkey track? That's goblins, because they're not in the same phase as we are. They're not in the same dimension of frequency as we are. And they have some high technology because they got legends about them using wands and things like in Star Trek. It is amazing. And oh man,
So they're
I don't know if
otherworldly
that's
completely.
Well,
yeah.
I would love to carry this on, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to call this a night. Might have something to do with being up since 2:00 this morning.
No
Sounds
worry.
like it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you came on. Thank you for coming on.
Oh,
There,
you're
Keith.
more than
It's
welcome.
always a pleasure to have you, my friend.
Nice talking to you guys again.
Always
Thanks so
good
much
with
in
you.
the chat room. Really appreciate you.
Talk to you soon.
Take care,
Absolutely.
buddy.
You take care, guys.
Night, bro.
What in the
I was
heck
like,
was
what
that?
got Keith?
No, that was
what
Chewy.
got Keith?
That was Chewy.
Okay. I like
Chewy.
that one.
Chewy's
Like, it's goblins have got Keith.
if a leaf flows by my house and Chewy notices it, he will bark his warning to the leaf, the mailman, someone driving by, someone walking by.
Okay, well,
I had
I've got
little
a few
dog
minutes.
named Coco, the really tiny one, and she was she was a mini pinscher, sort of a pinchy wawa. I knew you'd understand that. Anyway, she
Sapphire Elf is coming on.
she was crazy little dog. She would bark. There was a plastic bag that suddenly just wiggled, and she just went out of her mind, just terrified, fainted because of this stupid little
Mm-hmm.
sack. But oh my gosh, she was just terrified of her own shadow.
Yeah, Tilk, my little
I
dog
thought he was
Tilk.
coming.
The link is there. I tagged him on Facebook, or not Facebook, but YouTube, and I think it worked.
Thank you. I don't know.
Okay,
Does
you
he
got the
know how
link.
to use it?
Here he is. Let me let him in. Got to push
I hit
those
it for you.
buttons.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, is he in? Okay, good deal. Welcome back, Sapphire.
Hey. I'm wearing my.
Hey.
Oh, hold on. I gotta mute the other thing. Yep. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay, let me adjust your settings too.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Check
It was
your mic
me.
settings.
I got headset on. There's no sound coming through here, so I don't know why we got reverb.
Okay. Can you hear us now? Got
I
good
could
sound?
always hear you. I could always hear you. I just had to go to YouTube and mute that so I could still see the chat. But
Oh,
pause it.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Sorry,
Well, welcome
stretch
back,
your turn.
Sapphire Elf.
Good to be back.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah,
all over the place with a lot of food tonight. You heard.
Yeah, well, I love cooking. I'm so fucking domestic.
Thank
I'd
you.
make a good man wife. You know, like you grew up on a farm away from town. If you can't make a decent sandwich, you go bloody hungry, right?
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing when my son was young. I made sure he knew how to take care of his own business. Whether it was laundry, cooking, cleaning, he knows how to do all of it.
Yeah.
And he
Be
said, "Well, why
surprised.
do I gotta know how to cook?" I said, there is no guarantee if you get married that woman's gonna know how.
Most
Somebody
men,
needs to pick up the slack.
yeah, my dad taught my mum to cook, and they both taught me to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being like, what, 4, maybe 3, in my mum's arms, and I got to use the wooden spoon to stir the
Mhm.
bolognese sauce. And I was going to reach out and touch the pan, and Mum's like,
She's
no.
raising you right.
And Dad's, yeah, I'm about to touch the pan, and it's just on a gas stove, and it's just a thick cast iron pan. I'm about to touch it with my finger, and Mum's like, no, danger. And Dad's like, no, he's only 4, let him touch it because we're here. We'll put some ice on it, he'll get a boo-boo, it'll be fine, but let him touch it while we're here. So I never got burnt badly as a kid, you know. I remember cooking with my parents, and they let me touch the edge of the pan, and I'm like, oh, fuck! Don't do that. Yeah. Anyway.
You know, I started cooking when I was about 6. My mother couldn't. She couldn't boil water.
Yeah.
And I can remember putting, and it wasn't anything fancy. It was sandwiches, like you say, and maybe some tin soup and things of that nature. But you know, as I got older, I would. What do you got?
I got the cutest story how I came across this. Mrs. Bridges Plowman's chutney, and it's like tomato salsa with mustard and pickles mixed together with like a dash of barbecue in it.
Well,
it's bloody good. It's like a relish.
Oh my god,
right?
that sounds great.
Yeah. And I just asked an old lady in the supermarket, what does a young man put on his ham and cheese? And then I ended up having a half an hour conversation and got sent to a different store across town. And then I had a 10-minute conversation with them, and they sent me next door to the fruit shop. And then there was this young hipster guy, probably like 25, and he walked around the whole store, and all these old ladies have got their own section of their homemade sauces that are local. And I got a plum sauce that's like real fruity, barbecuey, dark one for pork. Fuck, it's good. And Mrs. Bridges is a local old lady with like printed bottles and everything.
Wow.
Anyway, that's my story. I went on a quest for an hour talking to old ladies around town to get a relish for my sandwich.
I'll tell you what, you came home with some good stuff.
Yeah, well, I like that stuff. I just think it's cute. You know, you just ask a random stranger about cooking, and they'll tell you because they like to share. It's just wholesome, right?
One of the best places to find a cook is in a grocery store. You know.
You can tell by looking at people's trolleys. I do that. I check out the girls by, what do you got in your trolley? You know.
Yeah.
And I see them checking mine out. Like, obviously, I've got a roast in there and some vegetables. So it's not all packet bachelor shit. They're like, ooh, this man cooks.
I know. Not too long ago, I was in the market, and a young couple was standing there and just absolutely, what the hell do we do now? You know?
Yeah.
And I don't usually pay attention to strangers, but I'm looking at these two, and they didn't realize I was there. I wasn't the droid they were looking for. And anyhow, I said, what are you guys looking for? It says, what do you do with soy sauce? And I'm like, okay, how bad is this? You know? So I asked him, what is it you're trying to make? Let's try that first, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we just want to make a refried rice. And so I told them that is so basic.
Yeah,
you know?
My favorite is what they call New York dirty rice in America.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like half soy, half Worcestershire sauce, but you throw a splash of sweet chili in it. And it kind of muddies it and makes it brown, right? And so they call it dirty rice. Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. It's like
there is dirty rice in the United States. It's but its locale is New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay. I heard it was from New York or someone that I was talking to. Like I talk to everyone around the world about cooking. Right?
It's Louisiana. And dirty rice is served with red beans and dirty rice.
Okay.
And that's the length and breadth
Mhm.
of how I know
Then
anything about it.
are the red beans roast, dried, baked? Because I know Americans have boiled peanuts. I've never
red
actually
beans.
seen them.
Red
Yeah.
beans are a kind of, they sort of look like
Big kidney beans.
They
Yeah.
look like them. They're the smaller ones.
Okay. And
Okay.
what do they do with them? Do they like sauce fry them or?
They cook them, boil them. Okay, because they usually will take them from dried.
Okay,
But
right. Yeah.
you
So
can
they just
buy them. You can
rehydrate
buy them
them.
in a tin. But you
Yeah.
can
Okay.
with dirty rice. And I'm no expert. I will tell you that. I was not raised anywhere near this place. But there's a lot of recipes online for them. But anything that has to
Mhm.
do with New Orleans is dirty rice and red beans.
Wait.
And that's the way that they eat that. Jambalaya is
It's
another
New
one.
Orleans where they say hon a lot, like hun, but they say hon, and it's like New England clam chowder. Is that the same place?
No,
New Orleans lobster?
New
No,
Orleans is
that's
down.
Maine. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
New
Yeah.
Orleans
Okay.
is down by the Gulf of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at Texas, it's the next state over.
I'm great at geography when it comes to countries, right? Because we've got
Mhm.
250 countries in the world, and I'm great at that. But when you look inside the country and you have to have 50 individual states, I'm like, nah, don't know. I got to
They
block that out. That's too much
they
information.
all have their own
Yeah.
cuisine, and that's no lie.
Mm-hmm.
And certain areas inside that state are going to have their cuisine too. So
Yep.
that's
I find
why
it.
I opted out of that because I have never cooked Cajun, and
Oh,
that's
I love
just
that
not my
stuff.
way.
I got my Cajun spice right here
I
somewhere.
like
Oh,
hot food, but not
that,
Cajun.
that's my whole shelf of just spices right there. It's just all spices, all of it. And there's all my dried stuff, like my pastas and rices
I
and shit.
am jealous. I thought I
But
had some.
and I got my sauces. And then I've got like a little fridge freezer outside and my little caravan fridge freezer next to me down here somewhere. I don't know. Fingers in the way.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I've got like a.
I am world class jealous of you.
Oh no, well, like I said, I just love cooking. Oh yeah, at a garage sale once, my neighbour had this bucket of spices still in the plastic packets, and he just clipped the corners and put a clothes peg on them. And I'm going through them, looking at all this stuff, and it's just like, oh, you know those Japanese plates you want? Instead of buying like 2 of the set, can you buy the whole set and they'll give you the bucket of spices? And I'm like, done! And so I got all these random spices I'd never had before, like star anise, cardamom pods, and I was doing like spiced rice and stuff to have with like my curry and that, with just like a star anise in it. And God, it was lovely.
Yeah, I
I'm
bet
just
it
fucking
was.
around with shit. I still don't like cinnamon, but I've got the proper one in there. I don't know what to do with it.
If you dislike cinnamon, you have the wrong stuff.
Right. Right. I got some bad cinnamon. It wasn't cinnamon at all. It was curry. And
Ooh.
it was curry. Can you imagine putting curry in your coffee?
Yuckers.
Yeah, it was curry. Straight up. I
Oh.
smelled them and did that number with them. And I was like,
Took you a day and a half to get rid of the heat.
Yeah, what I think it would be is they're
Cinnamon
adding
here,
turmeric
cinnamon-
to everything. Sorry.
I do that.
Cinnamon is a
I
very.
do that.
Yeah.
Now,
I get it in bulk.
My stepdaughter
Sorry.
cannot eat it. Cannot eat any part of it. And
Cinnamon or turmeric? Which one?
cinnamon.
Okay. Well, actually, I do like it on donuts. I just don't know what to do with the scrolled bark on my own. Like, I'm not going to put it in rice. Right.
You have the rolled bark.
Yeah, I got the cinnamon bark in there that came from the like garage sale. It's probably like 5 years old and stale as fuck, but I'll still play with it and see what it does.
Do you have a a grater for cloves?
I don't have one of them micro graters, so when I get one of them little, like, 1 inch
Yeah,
wide,
it's like a bar.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, I want to get one. I don't have one.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. When you're ready to do that, take that cinnamon bark and run it across that plane the same way, and that will grate your
Yeah,
cinnamon.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you could renew it any.
I just don't know what to like cook with it. Like, I'm not big on herbs, right? I love spices like paprika, chili.
Do you ever want to freshen your house? Just freshen your house so it's, the things get stale sometimes.
Well, I could do that. Just put it in like
throw it in boiling water. Throw a little bit of a lemon peel in there, or an orange peel. Doesn't
I was about
matter.
to say the tea light candle thing where you normally put some water and a drop of oil. You just throw the cinnamon in that.
Yeah.
And let it
You
steep,
could do
I
that.
guess.
If you want to boil it on your stove, you can. If you are able to do that.
Vanilla is my house scent of choice. It smells like my girl from high school, and so yeah, my car smells like vanilla. My bed smells like vanilla. That's just the thing, and it's that cheap crap chemical.
You know what? Why not throw some vanilla in your lemon peel and your cinnamon, and just give yourself a little bit of a lift. That's very good for depression as well.
Actually, yeah. I do suffer from that with anxiety and PTSD. Sorry.
Yeah,
Mate.
I do too.
An unsuspecting thing for cinnamon to be used on is pork chops. And it works really well. Pork chops, put the regular stuff that you do and also cinnamon. It doesn't sweeten it. It just gives it a good flavor. Quality. Yeah, it gives it a quality, and it's so surprisingly good. You can't overdo it, just like anything else. But it's so good.
You know how pork is like, it's actually more lean than beef, to be honest. But the fat tastes good and it's rich. And if you've got something like a sweetener, like even cocoa, if you're not adding sugar to it, by adding fat, it does similar things to your brain. And so I think like cinnamon's great on a donut, and then putting it on fat is probably just as good, right?
I think
like
so.
on pork, yeah.
I put cinnamon on pork with other spices, and just throw a little cinnamon in on top. And in your case, you could put a bit of the bark in and just fish that bark back out. It'll leave the flavor, but it'll make your meat and whatever sauce that you make with it very savory.
Sorry, every time I join the chat, we talk about cooking. Nate, we're gonna magnets again. What are we talking about?
I love cooking.
Wait, do I call you Nate or Nat? Because I'm an Aussie,
either
and
one, whatever you like.
I'm gonna shorten you down to like a pro surfer name. All right. My friend's son's friend's son's a surfer, and he named his son Nate, and it's like, oh, he's a pro surfer already. Nate Hockey.
Now, in mine, you just say Lynn. Okay.
I think he's frozen.
Did you freeze?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I just had a Starlink 10-second thing.
Yeah,
it's like not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, with my name, just call me Lynn, and it's all good.
Yeah. I get called all sorts of names, and I don't really pick a certain one. You can call me Elfo, Park, Sapphire, Safi, Elfers. I don't know, whatever. Pick one. Yep.
What pleases you?
I don't really have a perception. In Australia, you don't pick your nicknames. Other people pick one for you. That's what we do.
I guess
I can't
that's
say,
true.
oh, you got to call me this. People just call me whatever they want anyway.
Mm.
I'm not fast, Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well, I'm
were.
pretty good with Sapphire. That works.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, Sapphire's my old Warcraft paladin that I've had for like 20 years, so it's just part of my growing up and my identity. I'd never take that back. I could rebrand as Puck and get rid of the girl avatar, but it's like, I don't care if people have the odd bitch. I'm not catfishing people. When I
Yeah.
start asking for
Philosophy of
money,
life.
when I start asking for money and plane tickets for my sick mother in hospital or something, then get worried, right? Yeah.
Right.
I'm not worried at all. I ain't doing it.
Well, that's what I say. I'm not cheap. I'm thrifty. That's the
I'm
difference.
very, very frugal.
Yeah.
What we got here? Ants hate cinnamon, so I top out a line across where the ants might come in. Ah,
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
I was asking
Yes.
Raven what the trick was. She said she buggered them off out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
I know for rodents, they hate bloody peppermint oil.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
so, yeah.
Yes, I've gotten
I-
rid of rodents with
I
that.
didn't know cinnamon worked on ants because I have had ant problems in my caravan during summer. They try to live in the walls to get out of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the walls get too hot, they all come out of the walls and they're crawling around my desk everywhere. So, yeah, I'll try some cinnamon. Yeah, thanks for that.
They don't like to cross white lines.
Talcum
Like
powder.
salt or
Talcum-
chalk.
Yeah, talcum is the thing that you use
Mhm.
commercially on ant farms because the dust is so fine, ants and insects smell with their feet and they also grip with them. And that's how they sense their pheromones and stuff. And
Clogs
so
them
if
up.
you put, talcum powder, it's like putting shoes on them and they just get lost and just huddle in a little
Well,
corner and stay there.
They can't communicate with each other.
Yeah, it's just a barrier. Yeah, and so even if they start messing with it, they'll always turn back. There's nothing on the other side signaling them to keep going. Yeah.
Mhm. I watched
Yeah.
ants leave a trail. You could barely see it, but they leave a scent trail. They drag their thoraxes behind them, and you can
Mhm.
barely see it. But if the light hits it just right, you can see that little line they're leaving behind them, and they will follow that line. Get rid of
That's
that
right.
line, and they're lost. The colony is lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you get an ant batch coming through, wash the floor real good, and
Yeah.
if you're going to poison, if you got to do it outside. Where they're coming in at, and try to avoid getting it in the house because
It's poison.
you can poison yourself just as easy as you can them.
Hmm.
And I much there's so many remedies for different problems, gnats and the rest of it. That's all totally natural.
I've got a giant Bible, like giant page prints, like that big, like 12 inches by about, what would that be, 9 inches? And it's
They're
about that
vast,
thick.
yeah.
And each herbal plant has a 2-page spread of a big color picture, how to make a tea, a tincture, topical ointment, all its uses, its chemicals, and its modern science. And pretty much every single plant in your traditional British overgrown cottage garden has a use. Even dandelion tea you can use for medicinal purposes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if people are lacking vitamin C, dandelion tea.
Yeah.
And like yarrow, like if you're an archer in medieval times and you get shot, and it's this poisonous plant with that plumy white top, and it grows like a weed in every old nana's bloody cottage garden. But if you make a tea out of it, it can help sustain internal bleeding because of its tannins.
Milk thistle or feverfew or what?
Yeah, milk of the thistle's in there. All of it. It's all in this big Bible. And yeah, some
Oh.
things you can't drink and they're poisonous, and some
Oh,
things
yeah.
you do make creams because they are toxic. And you want a toxic thing to fuck that thing up on your skin, right?
Well, depending on what it is, of course.
Yeah, well, it's like killing a wart, you know, like
Right.
you don't want to drink acid, but you put acid on the wart, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very minute portions, but
Yeah.
yes.
I'm saying, yeah, I love that. And like the companion planting, like you do legumes that are a rooting vegetable, and then you do like a leafy fruiting vegetable, and one takes nitrogen, one takes potassium, and you rotate your crops and stuff.
Right.
That's why modern monoculturing farming sucks. I don't like commercial farming. If we could fix global warming overnight, if we fixed farming.
I think you're right.
Soil breathes with its microecology more than trees do. The organisms and life and planktons and plants and bacteria in the soil breathe more than the trees above them. Their roots just hold the soil down. Having trees isn't your carbon capture. It's quality soil. And we could fix global warming overnight if we improved soil health across the board. We've got millions of hectares of poor quality, non-aerobic soil. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
we've used modern methods for so long that the soil it's almost
dead.
unusable.
It's dead.
You know?
The soil's dead. And the only thing living
Almost
in
all
it is
of it.
what we're planting and what we're fertilizing. The soil's dead.
My father was a drainage contractor, but he was also into soil conservation.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're talking about 60 years ago.
Yep.
And one of the things that he was adamant about was that the farmers were killing the soil.
Yep.
That he was watching good, healthy black soil turn into gray soil.
Turn to sand. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Nobody would listen. You know, they started listening to a
It's
place.
It's coming back now. There's a big movement in small holdings in America, and they only plant for 6 months of the year, and then the other 6 months they do a top cover of a mixed wild grain, and they get the cattle back on it to eat it, poo it, emulsify the soil, get the bacteria and the living things back in there. Right. And they only have to do it once every 4 years. You can do 3 crops, but you rotate each year, different crops, so you're not totally depleting one thing. And 4th year, massive ground cover crops. And nowadays, selling lucerne that's high quality to horse feed is a great fucking racket anyway. Selling canola seed, you know, just a ground cover of just canola hay, you know.
Oh. It just is, you know, it's, like you say, it's completely simple to straighten it out. But they won't listen. They just won't.
The drainage thing too, because even if you have an organic compost pile, if there's too much of it, it will break down and it will have ammonia in it. And that can pollute waterways and stuff like that. So there are some very specific laws around drainage and soil.
Contracting was more about getting into the field itself, say a wet, moist, mucky sort of soil, and getting some of that extra water out of there.
The goal is to the goal is to complete the drainage and get it working, but to be able to do it legally, he's got to know those, like, what we were talking about, like how plants and the environment interacts with just decomposing material, like, for example.
That's right.
Yeah, that's all I meant. Yeah,
you're right.
Drainage is meant to make it dry. But even to make something dry correctly, you need to know all these environmental, and it's like soil health and all that nitrogen runoff from Europe, because their farms are so fucked. They've got a whole edge of their coastline that's a desert nitrogen wasteland of a burnt coral sea. It's disgusting. That's why they're trying to ban fertilizers in Europe. And yet there's no incentives for the farmers to actually do it. They're just basically taking their livelihoods off them and saying, you can't do that.
Well,
They're not giving them a better
take
price.
something away from somebody, you better be replacing it, or they're not
Yeah.
going to cooperate.
Well, they better reimburse them for making these changes at their own cost by giving them a better price for their commodities. If they're growing them in a more sustainable way, you should be paying more. But people don't want to pay more. Governments just want to impose rules, and they expect the consumer to pick up the slack. And that's what I mean.
Go along with it.
I wouldn't mind government making some rules, but I really would prefer that it be somebody who has some damned idea of how this industry actually works, and not the shoemaker or a industrial magnate.
Yeah, we don't need a lawyer.
Don't know how it works.
We don't need a Harvard lawyer telling a farmer how to grow a fucking bean.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And when someone tries to sue the farmer for growing a bean, then I'll talk to the Harvard lawyer and tell him why I'm growing the bean the way I do. Until then, fuck off and stop making rules. Oh my God.
Gee, I think I like you. You know.
I like you too. For every law that gets passed in the Elf Imperium, I'm going to require my adjudicators to repeal an old law that's no longer enforced. So you can't keep adding things to the books. You get a certain amount. And if you want to add new ones, you've got to get rid of old ones. So if your old ones don't work, put new ones in. But you're not making up 100,000. You get like 1,000. That's it.
And make the law accessible to the common person, with or without a lawyer.
As soon as you need a lawyer to understand legalese and forms, and it's an expense to the common person to represent themselves fairly when being accused, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, I do too.
I'd like to be a lawyer, but I'd go to court and I'd wear a jester's outfit and I'd just mock the fucking judge the whole time. I'd behave myself.
I think we've discovered why neither of us are in charge.
Well, that's it. I follow around the guy that's in charge, and I'm just funny, and I remind him to be like normal and shit. You're not a god.
Oh, please don't tell them that. They'll be so disappointed.
What was it? Was it Julius Caesar or Claudius that had the jester that followed him around town and whispered in his ear, "You're not a god"?
Julius. I think it was Julius.
Was it Julius Caesar?
I'll find
Julius was the father. Right. Which one came first, Julius or Augustus?
Augustus.
Okay, well then it was Julius, because I don't think it was his dad. I think it was the younger one. Is the one everyone celebrates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He got rid of the.
Frank thinks he knows what. Julius came first, and then Augustus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right.
And
he's absolutely right.
Okay, so I'm going to ask your friend before we Google it. What was the question? Which one was the guy that did what? What was the question?
Had a jester follow him.
Yeah, follow him and remind him he's not a god. Ask your husband who that was, please.
Frank, which one had a jester following him, reminding him he was just a man? Was it Augustus or was it Caesar? Julius Caesar?
It could also be Claudius.
It could be Claudius too. Claudius.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm smart.
Oh my God. History is Frank's absolute passion.
Yep, same.
He's an IT person, and when I say IT, he's been at IT for the last 40 years. And he speaks DOS. He's
Oh my
brilliant.
God, yeah,
He's
yeah, I
brilliant.
know.
You'd
Yeah.
have a circus with him.
I messed up. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, we'd get along fine.
He's
Thanks, Raven. Sorry, you
his
didn't.
biggest love in life is history. He loves computers too, but history, man,
Yeah,
ancient history in particular.
mine's like living history. I'm already crafty, and I'm actually a blacksmith by trade. And I do like all the Damascus steel blades, and I make bows. And my Aboriginal girlfriends teach me how to weave baskets, and I've done quilting with girlfriends, and I think she broke up with me because my quilt patch was too awesome.
That just sounds like a ball.
I grew up, my mum made all my clothes growing up back in the 80s before we had cheap Chinese clothes. And my track pants had an inbuilt nunchuck pocket, and I'd make nunchucks out of a bit of shoelace and some broom handle.
Do you know how to work nunchucks, or are they just something fun?
No, well, I've done like crane and stuff, but I'm not a fighter. I've never struck anyone. And nunchucks for me are like fire stick twirling at a rave. I do that too.
Just
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just
y'all.
wondered.
Let me tell you, it's been over 2.5 hours, and I'm starting to fall out over here.
Okay.
I woke up I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sapphire, that's what
A lot
happened.
of fun. We'll have to do this again soon.
Yeah. Sapphire, welcome back to the Quantum Show. It was great having you, but I just gotta wrap it up. I'm yawning over here.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
I'll talk forever. I know. Yeah.
So
That's why.
That's the problem.
That's why specifically pointing me out. It's like, okay, Sapphire, shut up. I'm going to bed.
Derek, I've got to go. I've got to go.
Can you leave the call open so me and Lynn can chat in the background, even if you close the YouTube?
Yeah, I can close the YouTube.
Yeah, I just mean when you go, can you leave the StreamYard up so me and Lynn can just waffle crap? Because it looks like we're waffling crap for a while.
Well, I've sat and talked to Raven. It's possible it will stay up. It might not.
I gotta remember how to do that. Let me see.
I just mean when the YouTube finishes, just leave StreamYards open and you can go and we'll just sit here and talk shit in the background. No one has to be the leader.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
yeah, like if I get DC'd, I'll be gone. Like I won't be able to rejoin, but I'll just talk shit till whatever.
Yeah. Well, I've got a bedtime set, unfortunately, but
you've been warned by Nat. Puck will keep you up all night, Lynn.
Daddy isn't gonna like it.
I want to talk to your husband about history too. You got to get him over here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll talk about pyramids.
That would be a good thing to talk about. Have a history show, and we focus on some part and how it related and how. Yeah, that's a good show idea.
I can help with that if you want to be the factoid man. If you want to theorize and wildly speculate, then I can be the other side of it. And go, actually, it's this kind of stone, and they might have used this kind of tool, but I can't prove it. You know?
Yeah. No,
yeah, that'd be a great dynamic.
Tonight, though, I have got to get some rest. It's been
anyway. Yeah, I know.
Been a god awful week.
I'll go karaoke. Oh, hugs. Well,
Yeah,
I'll go karaoke then.
Okay.
I'll shut up.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming to the Quantum Show. Everybody in the chat came in. Derek came back. Christine came back. Sapphire, you're here. Raven. Everybody in the Lunar Sparkles. thanks everybody for coming back to the Quantum Show. We went in a big spiral tonight, y'all. And we went from Mercury to food to heavy drinking to ancient history. Love it.
Hey,
Love
like and
it.
subscribe, please. It keeps us going.
Yes, I'm still working on how to make merch happen. Thanks, everybody. Y'all keep it quantum. Have
Hit
a
the
good night.
thumbs and leave a comment after the show. That helps the
Yes.
algorithm.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I keep forgetting to say that. All right. Keep it quantum, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Pushing buttons. Pushing all the buttons.